Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. It is apparent that all these weeds, how dare I, this bushes and plants and beautiful flowers are running over me. All right. Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. It is apparent that we are going to go out. I got to stick my tooth in. I leave it out just for posterity. Yeah, in October this thing goes away. I know everybody's tired of talking about my tooth. But we're going to go see, I saw some scrap metal thieves. That's right, that is a big deal. Scrap metal thieves are all over California, pretty much all over the world, but California is getting really bad. They're stealing the cabling out of the street lights. So all the street lights are dark because they stole the copper. And now they're moving on to steel. They're stealing scrap steel off the bridges. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here in a minute on Google Earth. And then we're going to go and check out where they just totally stole the steel. And then we might even go by the scrap yard and see where they're getting all their money. You know, the scrap yards should be accountable for the thieves coming in. If the thieves didn't have a place to take the scrap that they steal, well, they wouldn't have this problem. They just had the Vallejo War Memorial just vandalized. All the plaques were stolen for a couple dollars in scrap metal. They disgraced our veterans. All right. Let's show you what I'm talking about on Google Earth. You can see what I'm going to show you. They've started to tear apart the bridge, and now as you go over there, the bridge railing is gone. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go look at Google Earth and then go to the location. I said let's go to the location. I can't get through that door if you're going to block me like that. How am I supposed to pass? I don't know. Let's see if she'll move. Think she'll move? She moved her head. Okay, Snoopy, let's see what I'm talking about. Let's close this door and you will see. This is the railing I'm talking about. I'm going to get my glasses on so I can see. But look at this. I'm going to move this sensor up. Right here is where they've started stealing the brass metal. You see the railing on the bridge? Well, they do it one little piece at a time. They've started at both ends. If you go over here, you can see where they stole the first piece off of this one. And look how dangerous that is with that piece of pipe just sticking out like that. But yeah, so as if I go down the road a little ways and turn around, you can see how dangerous that pipe would be coming out. All right, well, let's go to that location. I'm going to take you to, it's right across the way from the Coliseum where the Raiders used to play and the Oakland A's used to play, but everybody's moving out of Oakland and they're taking the scrap metal with them. All right, let's go to that spot. Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. It is apparent that I'm over here at the Martin Luther King Jr. Regional Shoreline, more specific, the Damon Slough staging area, whatever that means. What is the Damon Slough? Well, let's go look at the Damon Slough staging area. I got that fake tooth in, so you'll hear me speaking with a little bit of a lisp as I pull my pants up and do the old Bill Maher finger check. Bill Maher always does the old, if you watch Bill Maher, he always does this. He checks his zipper about 20 times a show, so the Bill Maher finger check. All right, let me pick you up. I got you resting. Right here is where you are resting, and that's how I knew right where I was at. The Martin Luther King Regional Shoreline Damon Slough staging area. I don't know what they stage here, but we are here not to look at this beautiful park and all its surroundings. We are here to look at the scrap metal thieves. Now let me make sure that this camera is all the way backed out. There it is. It is backed out. A lot of times I will have the camera on me. Oh, there goes 5-0. Look at here. Look at 5-0 right there. 5-0. They're going somewhere. I don't know. But you can see that they are not watching the dumping. Look at the illegal dumping here. All this trash. People just dump their trash right here. Look at that. That's like scrap wood and chairs. All this is like dumping. But that's not why we're here. We are here because of the scrap metal thieves. I was driving this road the other day and I noticed that the railing was all gone. So I said, let's look at Google Earth and see, was there ever a railing there? And sure enough, they've stole the railing on both sides. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'll give you the big reveal in a moment. I just want to make sure no cars are behind me. But yeah, I'm standing on trash. Yeah, let's do I'm going to get on this, turn this camera around. Look at that fire hydrant right there. Huh. There's the shutoff. But here's what they're stealing. Look at all the guard railing on both sides. Wow. You can see over here, look at just the bolts. So as on Google Earth, all the railing was there. So you can see how this is very dangerous. A car can go right off into this slough. But I'm gonna get over here when I can. But look at all this railing is gone. I'm gonna watch this car. I gotta be careful here because there is no railing. Watch this car come by. All this. Let's rock this real quick. I'm gonna get on the other side. But they stole, what is this? Something. It's a headless doll. Oh, there's the head. Okay. Anyway, let's get off this bridge. They stole all this railing. So the scrap metal thieves, this isn't something the city of Oakland does. This is all scrap metal thieves. So I'm going to go on this side and I'm going to show you what I found. Here's some more. Yeah, Oakland is dirty, but here on both sides there's a little park on each side. I think you can cross the bridge. Let me just show you what I found. I'll set it right here. I found that thing, and then I found like a Jesus. Was that on there? I don't know. But I'm keeping that Jesus, or whatever that is. I don't know. Call me crazy, but you'll see it somewhere, someday. Huh. All right, that's not what I'm keeping here. I'm not keeping that. Ariel. I don't know what that says. But yeah, scrap metal thieves on both sides. Oh, look at this, an elephant. Can you see the elephant bowl? That's a cute one. I won't take that, but that is cute. That should be out here where someone might want it. I'll put it right there. You know how they have like you put an elephant on each side of the trail for good luck? All right. All right, enough of that. I could be here all day sifting through trash. Okay, so here is the railing that's missing on both sides. You got to be careful of these cars coming around the corner. Watch this. Here they come. I'm going to cross the street when I can. There's another one coming right there. And another one. I sound like DJ Khaled. And another one. And another one. But yeah, look at how short that little curb area is. You could see where a car could go right over that and into the water, and no one would ever know they're there. So on my Google Earth, you will see that there's railings on both sides that they have stolen, and they took a little bit at a time so no one would really notice. And look at, they break into this. They're probably listening to me right here. They're probably sleeping underneath this bridge. Let's see. Yeah. That could be someone's home, you never know. But here's where I'm at. Empty. Well, sometimes they have concerts there. I don't know who's playing now. But I know for a fact that that Coliseum right there is empty. No Raiders, no Oakland A's. Yep. Oakland, jumping down, jumping down. Ugh. Oakland, people are moving out, not moving in. That's a bad sign. All right, well, I'm going to wait for this car to pass me by, and I'm going to walk this bridge very carefully. But yeah, there it is right there. All right, all this scrap metal is gone, both sides. So if you're a scrap metal thief in Oakland, shame on you. Someone could just go around this corner right here. Look at it, around that corner, and they can end up right in there and no one would ever know. That's pretty deep. Scrap metal thief. Yeah, they just unbolted it. They just took the bolts right off. Oh, look it, they left a bolt. They didn't even put the bolt back on. There's a good example. I told you, they just unbolted it. Here's another bolt and washer. Look at this. Yep. This has recently been stolen. There's the big bolt. Look at this. That bolt goes right on there. So they just unbolted all this scrap metal. So shame on the scrap metal yards that are accepting that. They should not let people sell that. Look at it, it's all bent. So if you're a scrap metal yard, you know that that isn't scrap metal. That's probably got an Oakland stamp on it. I don't know. I can't wait till my mouth is done so I don't talk with this lisp. But yeah. So scrap metal thieves are destroying and making Oakland more dangerous. Like I said, they're stealing the light poles or the copper out of the light poles. They're stealing guard railings now. That's not even valuable copper. That's just regular old pot metal. Wow. And as they leave a mess, they make it more dangerous. Look at all this trash. We used to have prisoners. What happened to the prisoners that... Oh yeah, that's right. We don't want prisons anymore. But in the old days, they wouldn't be sitting in jail watching TV. They'd be out here cleaning up this mess, making Oakland a better place. But you're not going to find it here. You're going to hear scrap metal thieves just stealing from Oakland. When are these signs going to go next? When is the art going to go next? You know, the art that they have in the parks? That's probably going to... They already destroyed like I said, the war memorial in Vallejo and other war memorials. They don't care. Now they're breaking in the crypts and old graves. Where has society gone? I don't know. Well, I might stop at the scrapyard just if they're open, and give you one last look. But if I don't, I always want to thank you for coming along with me on these scrap metal thieves adventures. That's right. Look at that. Let's just take another look. You come around that corner. Let's just see this car. This car's going to Grandma's house, and it comes around the corner, and it's looking at its phone like they always do. Look at right over that. No railing, no guard railing, no guard railing. Look how close their tires are. So if you don't think you can go over that rail, think again. It only takes one glance at the phone. All right. Well, as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these scrap metal thieves destroying the world. And shame on you, scrap metal yard, for buying that scrap metal that you know is stolen. I mean, some things are scrap metal and some things are stolen, and you know which one is which. So if you're a good scrap metal guy, you know what is scrap and what is stolen. All right. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. Remember to stay strong and healthy. And God is real. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, yeah. Is that Damon or Demon? Okay, we're leaving this park. And that always scares me, driving over those little spikes. Even though I'm going the right way, I always feel like... Okay, this is a postscript. You can see how many cars drive over that bridge. You've seen how careful I had to be just crossing it. But look it. I'm going to hang you out the window here. And you tell me. Look at the scrap metal thieves. They just recently did this because the bolts are on the ground. Look at both sides. That is very dangerous. Wow. Be careful right there. Okay, quit driving and be careful. Yeah, I know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That whole building is shut now? Wow. Another casualty of Oakland. Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. It is apparent I got my tooth out, but what I did was I made my way to the scrap metal yard. I just got my hazards parked on over there at a no parking, no stopping anytime. The things you do for the internet. But I want to show you where all this scrap metal is going. Did I say postscript? Yep, I got to say postscript PS on this video. This is Scrap Metal Central. Look at, now that's scrap metal. That's what real scrap metal looks like. But this right here, it's closed today. But look at this. That could be anything, anywhere. There you go. There's your scrap metal yard. There's the scrap metal claw. But it's not running today. This place is very quiet. Usually this is really loud. But do you see any kind of stolen scrap metal in there from the bridge? No. A lot of scrap metal. And it comes in all sizes. So anyway, that is a scrap metal yard. So where is all that bridge material going? I don't know. But yes, they do buy scrap metal here. Weight is a 2,000 minimum. You got to have a minimum of 2,000 pounds, 1 ton, just to go in that gate. All right. Well, I thought I would come over here and the scrap metal yard would be going. I thought I'd give you some action. But there is no action. But watch this guy. Speeders. Speeders All right, this road has seen better days. Is there any road here? I don't know. All right, well, there you go. These are the scrap metal trucks waiting to turn in their scrap metal when it opens. But not today. All right. Well, postscript. I thought I would show you that, but nothing to see here. All right. Some lady passed away here, and they still kind of give her a little memorial. So this lady passed away here. All right. So if you're a scrap metal owner in Oakland or anywhere, turn those people that are stolen scrap metal, turn them away. It's not worth it. All right. As always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these scrap metal, stolen bridge railing adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. Yeah. I think it's a big conspiracy.